Hi, welcome to my channel, Life is Better with Omi. I'm Omi. I have 5 littles that call me Omi, and love them to death. Love all my kids to death. And my son-in-law, he's awesome. Anyway, I started this journey, Life is Better with Omi. I started the channel to talk about my life and about my divorce. I am 51 years old and I am going through a divorce after being married for 31 years. And I know that there are other people that are in similar situations that may have advice for me or may get something out of my journey as well. And I call it a journey because it's an adventure, you know? You just don't know what's going to happen next. And something that needed to happen and something that I'm glad happened, but it is very hard. So I will start with the basics of why it happened. And it started because my husband is an alcoholic. He has been drinking for the entirety of our marriage, and it has gotten worse. And every time I'd ask him to slow down on the drinking, he would for a while. And when I say a while, it would be, a few days, a week, maybe 2. And then he would go right back to drinking again. And then it would get worse. And it would get worse. And I would ask him again and again. He would do it for a week or 2. And then it would get worse again. And then it got to the point where he was buying a 30-pack every other day, a 30-pack of Budweiser beer every other day. And we live paycheck to paycheck, and that $26 every other day really adds up to a lot, especially when I'm not spending more than a few dollars every few days, if that. There were some days I didn't eat lunch. I didn't do anything until after I got home, and I would eat something, maybe a bowl of cereal or a sandwich or whatever we were having for dinner, if we had anything like that. Usually we would just fix something for the kids, and I would eat a microwave meal or something. Kids would have chicken nuggets or whatever. And when I say kids, there was a point whenever both of my grandkids were living with me. Right now there is only one grandchild living with me. And then I do have a 23-year-old who lives with me as well. She is autistic and legally blind in the left eye. And she helps around the house, and she helps me out, and she's a big support for me as well. And then the little that lives with me is a 10-year-old granddaughter that lives with me, and she and I have a good relationship as well. But anyway, back to my husband. He was bringing home a 30-pack every other day, and it got to the point where he didn't go to bed at night. He passed out at night, and he was in bed by 7:30 some nights. And whenever he did talk to us, it was just rude. He wasn't mean. I mean, he didn't hit us. He didn't do anything like that. He did yell a few times, and he would just say mean things, just insults or just things to be mean. And then it got to the point where I didn't like it, and I didn't like him being mean to the kids, and I asked him in May or June of last year. I finally told him that I wanted him to stop drinking, that I would give him 6 months. 6 months to stop drinking, or I was leaving. So he could save our marriage, or he could continue drinking. And he didn't even slow down drinking. Didn't even slow down. And then we had, I had gone out of town. Let me think about this. So for some reason I was out of town, and I was coming back, and he said that he was having an issue with his eye. No, I'm sorry, I was at work, and he said he was having an issue with his eye, that it was blurry and he couldn't see out of it. And I told him to go to the emergency room, and he said no, because the last time we went to the emergency room, he had to stay in the hospital for a couple weeks because his blood pressure was too high and his blood sugars were too high. And his doctors told him then that he needed to stop drinking, and he did not. And that was like 2 years ago. And so whenever I got home, I asked him if he wanted me to take him to the emergency room, and he said no. And I had sent him his doctor's number, but he did not call. So I had called the doctor and talked to the nurse, told her what was going on, and gave her his number, and she had called him. So they had scheduled an appointment before I got home. So he just said that he was going in the next day to see the doctor. Well, whenever he went to see him, he had a detached retina, and so he was going to have surgery. And when they went to do the surgery, again, he had to wait for his blood pressure to come down before he could have his surgery. And they did testing, his blood sugars, and all of his testing came back. And then they said that his proteins, or whatever it is, for his liver was too high. And after they did the surgery, then they took him for an ultrasound for his liver, and they were concerned that he might have cirrhosis of the liver. And we went to a specialist for that, and they did an ultrasound, and again, they did all of that. And they said that because they didn't have anything to compare it to, that it didn't look terrible. It was probably in stage 1 of cirrhosis, and if he quit drinking, then he could get back, it would quit suffering. It could repair itself, basically, is what they said. I don't think that's the correct. I don't know that it would repair itself, but it would be okay. And he refused to quit drinking. So now he's got another doctor. So this is like the 4th doctor that has told him to stop drinking. And I think he doubled down at that point. I think he brought home a bottle of whiskey after that. But then in July, he got laid off. And he was still bringing home the beer. And I, one point, asked him where he was getting his money from, because I'm the one paying the bills, so I know that we don't have much money. And he said that he had gotten some from my brother. So he had went over and met my brother and got money, and went to the liquor store and got some. Then later, I was paying the bills, and I found out that he was using one of our credit cards, and he had almost maxed out a credit card buying liquor. And I was really upset about that and told him so. And he told him he can't do that. I don't have the money. We're living off of my paycheck, which, by the way, I am a bus aide. I make $14.92 an hour. And on summer hours, I do work summer school, but I only make about half the hours that I make during the school year. So we're looking at like 20 hours compared to almost 40 hours. So I don't make very much in the summer at all. And that's what we were living on, trying to pay the bills and everything. And he wasn't even applying for unemployment. Like I walked him through it. We set up everything, and he wasn't following through with unemployment or anything. So we didn't get any checks from that. I think we did get some food assistance for a month or two from that for him not having a job, and that's because I applied for that because wasn't sure how we were going to do that. Anyway, so here we're getting closer to the end of the 6 months. In October was his niece's wedding, and I had promised her a couple years ago that if she got married, I would officiate the wedding because I'm ordained and I can do that. And she lives in Michigan. So he and I drove out to Michigan, and he had not had any alcohol for about 2 weeks at this point. So he was sober. He was acting normal. He wasn't acting like he was having withdrawals or anything like that. And everything was fine. He didn't drink while we were out there. The wedding was beautiful. Tammy was beautiful. Then we come back, and I asked him, I said, so you haven't drank in like 2 weeks, and you seem to be doing fine, and I don't understand why you wait until you run out of money to quit drinking, but when I asked you to stop drinking for our marriage, you wouldn't do that, and I don't understand why you didn't do it for our marriage. And he said it wasn't that he couldn't do it. It wasn't that he said that it wasn't that he couldn't quit drinking. It was that he didn't want to quit drinking for our marriage. So, and that he was tired of me and the doctors nagging at him, and that I had been nagging at him for the last 15 years, and he was tired of it. And so I said, well, if you were tired of it for 15 years, you should have told me that, and I would have left then. But since I know how you feel now, then I guess I'll file the paperwork. And he said, okay. So here we are, several months later, quite a few months later, and I have filed the paperwork. I will go back to court on May 26th for the final decree. Chuck will not be here. He has decided to move back to Michigan, where his sister is and his mom. And the other reason that our marriage broke up was because on Saturday and Sundays, he gets on the computer as early as 7 o'clock in the morning and stays on the computer until between noon and 4. And he is on the computer with his sister playing World of Warcraft and talking on the phone the whole time. and he will not do anything with the family. And he has been doing that for at least the last 10 years. And he won't go anywhere with us. He won't do anything with us. He wouldn't even come out and celebrate his grandson's birthday. And all we did was ask him if he'd come out and sing happy birthday with us and take a piece of cake. And he wouldn't do that. He won't come out to celebrate Christmas with us, except to come out and see who's there and say hi, and then goes back to his bedroom. It's very frustrating, and honestly, my sister-in-law knew more about my marriage than I did, because he would talk to her, but he wouldn't talk to me, and so that was another part of it. But I moved out of the house about a month ago, about three and a half weeks ago, and Chuck finished moving out of the house yesterday, and he will be leaving for Michigan tomorrow. So this is, I guess, where my journey begins. Where that door closed and this one begins. I hope you stay with me. I hope I maybe can help somebody, or maybe somebody can help me. Maybe you've been through what I have been. I'm not sure what I want to get out of this channel, but I hope somebody listens, and I hope somebody likes my channel. And I just want to say hi. And after I get over, being sad, we will have fun, because I am a very silly person. Just ask my grandkids. Thank you for listening. Bye.